Hello, welcome to First Thoughts. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre,
I'm Austin Johnson.
and today we are here to talk about Wes Anderson's new movie, Asteroid City. Kind of proven a bit divisive, but modestly successful. Anderson purists are loving it. Regular people, uh, depends on who you talk to, I guess. So let's get into Asteroid City. What are your first thoughts on First Thoughts here?
This is my first thoughts. Talking about my first thoughts on Asteroid City. I liked it a lot. I had fun, had a good time. It's super layered, super confusing at times, but also it's not over the top confusing for confusing's sake. To me, it's obvious what's going on once you think about it. And yeah, I had a good time. Packed at the theater, which was cool. People were cackling. Then there was also people like when I was walking out who were just kind of like, "What was that?" Or lower tier Anderson. Everybody says that after every one of his movies. There's always those people, but I had a good time. So sue me. I get why it's divisive. I get why it's kind of doing that thing where people are like, "Is Wes Anderson really that talented?" Is this all like a shtick, just a gimmick? I understand it, but I'm also just a huge fan. So, more easy to do, everyone would fucking do it. You know what I mean? The whole West, if it were that easy, the stupid TikTok and Insta videos would actually look cool and not stupid. So, I just think what he does is has a very high degree of difficulty. So, I'm always appreciative of watching his movies in theaters.
Yeah, okay, I understand that. I love symmetry too. But this
Yeah,
film,
yeah, it looks good.
they all look good, eh, but why? Like, why do we have a play framing device of like, oh, all of the people in this movie are actually actors in a black and white play? Like, that was some Cassavetes bullshit I didn't need.
Yeah, I hear you. It's definitely his most kind of ambitious movie in a way, right? Just kind of here's a TV show documentary about the making of this play, while also the play's going on at the same time. And you're so locked into the play because that is the movie, is the play, right? And like that's what we're seeing. So you're kind of locked into these characters, and it is a bit kind of like what, why? But I enjoy it. I mean, we could just fucking get into it now. I think it's a response to his critics. I think it's a response to, oh, you do the same thing over and over. You do the same thing over and over. And he was like, well, fuck you. I'm going to do the same thing again, but like even more. There's even more stuffed into the movie. So I think Wes Anderson at this point in his career is definitely aware of his haters and was kind of finger up to them and kind of be like, you want like a response to Aliens? You want a response to Quarantine, which basically to me was like in a way the movie's about COVID, is about quarantine and kind of like the way we like frantically lock down if something happens. Obviously, there's tons of references in the movie. It's definitely playing off of westerns, playing off of plays, playing off directors, actors. He just shoves so much shit into it, and then the cast is fucking loaded. And he's like, I'll give you Jeff Goldblum for 10 seconds just because that's what I do. No one else does that. No one else can get Goldblum to show up for a line. you know, in reading, he's like, yeah, I'll show up for Wes to do this one line. Like no one else really gets that out of people. And so to me, it was kind of a middle finger movie. Like, fuck you. Like, I'm doing what I want. It's successful. I'm having a fun career. And, this is what this. Yeah.
Weird because I remember a few years ago, when we were doing the sneak preview, we covered a movie called Malcolm and Marie, which was pretty much the same kind of reactionary film, like, a director responding to his haters. And you had a lot of problems with that. So
That was a
what
response
changed?
to a that was that's a response to an article by a specific woman.
Okay.
I hated it. I hated that movie. I thought it was terrible. It also, I mean, I don't really want to talk about that movie. I like it, and I like don't think it has a place anymore. Nobody talks about it because it wasn't good. It's also got a lot of stuff. It's a white director trying to talk about what it's like back in America. Fucking weird. But Wes Anderson, he's literally built since 1996, Bottle Rocket to now, has built his own aesthetic, has built his own style, his own symmetry, his own production design. He uses the same cinematographer for every movie. Tell when you're in a Wes Anderson movie, you can tell, and people get tired of it. People get tired of consistency, and he's like, "All right, you're tired of it. Well, my fans are gonna love it." So, and I'm one of those people. And Asteroid City is more extreme than any of his movies as far as his style goes.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I had a feeling that was gonna open some wounds there, but art's not safe. Let's see.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Malcolm and Marie sucks.
Um, okay. My biggest problem with this movie is how, I know this is ironic because it takes place in a desert, but how dry this movie is. It
That's fair.
the I, you look for me, Grand Budapest Hotel is his masterpiece, and that film is so vibrant and full of unique performances and interesting characters who all are different. Everyone in Asteroid City doesn't choose, like, whenever they're speaking, their voice is level. No one has any personality in this movie.
Yeah,
Everyone's
it's deadpan. Yeah,
deadpan, and that's funny when you've got a few characters like that, but when it's everybody, it's boring. And I was bored. And then in the movie just kind of ends. There's no ending. It's just kind of like, and now everyone went home. Now you go home. Just what? Like, you're gonna give me a Wes Anderson sci-fi movie and then just kind of ignore the implications you establish in your movie? Wes, I don't, maybe my expectations were too high, but I left disappointed.
Yeah, and that's fair. I do agree with you. The deadpan stuff is to an extreme in this movie because you have Augie and Midge, Scarlett Johansson and Jason Schwartzman. A lot of the big scenes of dialogue are between them two, between these two kind of like little cottage houses, from window to window, and it is so monotone. It is so like, there's no, if you're looking at a chart, there's never like, it's always just flatline. So I understand that. I think that's one of the problems a lot of people have, even fans of his. You look at Letterboxd and whatnot, they are just like, look, I was kind of bored, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine. I have nothing against that. I do think I responded to it because it felt like, oh, he knows what he's doing here. Like, even if he's kind of fucking with the audience and fucking with our expectations, I kind of like that. I kind of like the stage he's in right now.
See, I don't like when a filmmaker takes me for granted. I I don't like when a filmmaker's like, like, you're gonna see it anyway, so I'm gonna do whatever I want. It's like, no, no, no.
Well, but that's this is interesting because that's kind of what a lot of blockbuster movies do. Like, there's no regard for quality. There's no like, and I'm not saying all Marvel movies are bad, but there's been many that are like, really? You knew I was gonna go. You knew I was gonna spend my time because it's a part of a greater story, and you didn't care. You didn't care about my feelings or my emotions because you're gonna make $1 billion. That I can see where your frustration comes from because I feel that sometimes too. With certain movies, I'm like, really? You knew I was going to come, and sometimes some of my favorite filmmakers will let me down. They let you down. They're like, I thought you were one of the real ones. So I get your frustration for sure.
Yeah. And I see that with the blockbusters all the time. Like, Caleb and I have bitched about Marvel's slump for quite a few episodes of whatever the fuck we happen to be doing. And
Yeah.
like that's the reason I didn't bother seeing Transformers Rise of the Beast, because like I can tell you I'm not going to enjoy this. I need more than just robots flipping around and shit like that. I'm not five. I need more than that. I want more than that. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I go to filmmakers like Wes Anderson for more of that. So when he does that shit to me too, it's like, fuck you, man. Like I was
Yeah.
pissed.
Yeah, I feel you on that because yeah, you're looking to like an indie all time filmmaker who is this is his 11th movie, and I assume you like the other 10. You know, I mean,
Most of them, yeah, I'm a fan. I am a fan.
yeah, yeah. So that is frustrating, right? You know, you're like, oh, finally, you know, here we go. Like it's been a couple years since he came out with a movie. Uh, it's you know, it's Wes. Like you know you're gonna be looking at something pretty at least. You know you're gonna be kind of like, oh, look, there's fucking Willem Dafoe. Oh my God, there's Goldblum. Oh shit, Tilda Swinton. But if it doesn't deliver for you as a fan, then you're like, well, God damn it, you know, I feel like I wasted my night.
It does. It feels like that sometimes. And thankfully, I've got that Alamo Drafthouse season pass, so I don't feel like I lost money, which is nice. But
But time, but
I do feel
time.
like I lost time and I lost like you know a little respect. So I don't know. And again, it is his craft. It's his movie. Whatever, if he wants to make whatever he wants to make, fine. But just I don't know. I have no one to like. I can't rock up to Wes's house and be like, "What the fuck, man?" Like, there's no one to bitch at here. It's just,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. This is weird, but the thing to him is me, and the closest thing to some things I'm frustrated with is you. You know what I mean? Because like I'm like a biased fan of a lot of filmmakers that I like, and then the same can go for you or other people I talk to about movies. So the closest thing to that filmmaker is like, well, I can't talk to him or Owen Wilson or these guys that go to bat for him. So I'm going to talk to the guy that likes it, you know. And you know, Adam was supposed to be on with us here today. He's somewhere in the middle. Like he liked it, but he also was like, okay, this is pretty engineered. Like you're like it's kind of like predictable at this point. He kind of felt that way, but he also had a good time. You know, he was a guy who laughed a lot, and like I thought a lot of it was funny, and so he's somewhere kind of in the middle of us. Like he understands both sides, whereas I definitely liked a lot. You were really disappointed, and that's quite all right. You know, sometimes it's good when a film divides people and doesn't divide people in like a violent way, but divides people's ideas and what they and the you know how we perceive things. So I mean, I love these themes. Like the theme of Jason Schwartzman's character in the play, Augie, that he loses his wife and doesn't tell his kids for 3 weeks because he doesn't know how to deal with the trauma of like losing his wife. I really like all that stuff. And he's so good. He's done that so many times, like the death of a parent or divorce, because he's a child of divorce. I think when he was like 8 years old, Wes Anderson's parents split up. And so he's just always dealing with that. Now he's in his, he just turned 54 like a couple months ago, Wes. And he's still like reeling, and like dealing with that still and like puts it in his movies. And I've always like responded to that part of his movies, the kind of parent family thing. I really liked Woodrow, the son. I thought he was hilarious, the brainiac. And then the three daughters fucking cracked me up. They're like witches. I liked all that. So I liked that family aspect of him dealing with trauma and kind of not knowing how to do it. I like that stuff a lot.
yeah, I just wish we'd gotten more than like a scene of it, because that comes up like one time and then they, rebury the mom at the end of the movie. But throughout the whole movie, it's pretty much just Woodrow doing science and Jason Schwartzman hooking up with Scarlett Johansson. There's not really a lot of exploration of that because there's so much fucking happening. Like, trim it down.
Yeah.
You don't need every actor you've ever worked with shoved into this movie just because you can. Like, trim it down.
Yeah.
Your darlings. We know you can do grandiose, giant, perfectly symmetrical pictures. We know that. So, just, I don't know, write a second draft.
Or this is one thing I've always applauded him for. Make the movie a little longer. Like it's an
Yeah,
hour. It's like an hour and 40 minutes. Like so many of his movies. That's one of the things that we appreciate about it is how tight they are. Like Budapest Hotel, this epic, amazing, amazing movie that's almost 10 years old. I can't believe it. Is like an hour and 40 minutes as well. It's crazy. And he's done this Tenenbaums, Rushmore. These movies are like an hour and a half to an hour and 45. He stays within that range. So you're never really bored. But with this one, it could have used an extra 20 minutes. It could have used that 2 hour runtime to maybe explore some of the things that you're wanting to see more of, right? So yeah, I totally get it. Totally get people being kind of like, wait a second. For me, I can't. Every time for him, because the first time I saw one of his movies in theaters was Moonrise Kingdom, and I was like, man, this is cool. Like this is cool. This is like opening me up. I've heard about this guy from people that are older than me, and that was the first time I was like, okay, like I'm interested. I want to see more. And so I went back and watched the old stuff, right? And then saw Budapest Hotel in theaters, and then saw Isle of Dogs in theaters, and saw French Dispatch. Now, what I've learned to do with his movies is when I go see him in theaters is just kind of just like be laid back, because too many times I'll try to figure something out, and like I'm gonna watch it again. I'm gonna rewatch this movie probably countless times through my life. I'll figure out where it stands amongst his other movies. I'll figure that out later on. So when people are like, oh, like, well, where is it? Where is it in your Anderson rankings? It's like, I've seen it once. I've seen Budapest Hotel about 50 times. There's no way to compare my experience with those two movies. One that I know that I love dearly, and one that I really, really enjoyed the first time. But those things could change after I watch it at home. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that's important when you're watching the work of an auteur, is to just try to relax a bit. Like, all right, you don't have to figure out every feeling on this first watch. You know what I mean? I feel that way not with every movie, but I feel that way with kind of those like big time Tarantino. I think I overreacted to Once Upon a Time, where I was like, this is his best movie. And then I watched it again. I was like, you know what? It's up at the top, but it's not quite, like, let's remember how much I love Pulp Fiction. You know what I mean? I do that a lot personally. That's kind of where I have landed with these kind of independent auteur, kind of special, unique event type directors.
I do just want to say real quick, since we started this whole thing like 4 years ago, and we've done 500-600 of these, this is the closest we've ever gotten to Siskel and Ebert at the movies. This episode right here. This feels like that so much.
At the movies, yeah.
Two thumbs down. But anyway, I understand that. Yeah, there is, with these guys who have a singular vision, who have a very distinct style, it does take a bit more than an initial watch to really understand what's going on here. But most people are only going to watch these films one time. This is going to be their only experience with this movie. So I do think that an active watch experience is necessary for every film and every experience. Like, you have to be invested. They have to keep you there. They have to make you think like, why did I come here? I'm here to be entertained. I'm here to see something, hopefully, that I've not seen before, something exciting, something palpable. And I did not get that from Wes Anderson this time.
Okay. So yeah, I agree with you, because not everybody's a freak, right? Not everyone's
going to buy this immediately and then analyze it to death for the next 10 years. Not everyone's going to do that like we do.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you. That's definitely why I like to speak for myself when I talk about these kinds of directors. A great example where I felt like I was wrong, and I had no problem admitting I was wrong, was when I saw Hail Caesar, Coen's 2016 movie, in theaters, and I was like, fuck this movie. Like, this is so up its own ass. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Like, who do they think they are? And then I rewatched it a few months ago, and I was like, damn, I was wrong. And it feels, it feels good to be right sometimes, but it feels good to be wrong as well. To backtrack and be like, oh, you know what? Both ways. I enjoy that both ways. You know this. I'm in the middle of rewatching all the Star Wars movies. I was wrong about him. I'm willing to be at the front of the line and admit, slap me on the wrist, I was wrong. My bad. You know, I was especially wrong about the prequels. I don't really care what anybody says about them. People want to fucking pull their drawers down and shit on those movies, like, because everyone does it. Like, it's the biggest bandwagon in cinematic history. Is like, fuck the 1999, 2002, and 2005 movies. Like, those movies suck compared to the original trilogy. I beg to differ. I think those movies are fun as shit because I have gone down the road of I'm going to watch them for myself. I'm going to watch them for my own entertainment. There's no outside pressure of, oh my God, you haven't seen Star Wars. You have to see these. It's like, no, I have seen them. I saw them throughout my childhood. I just wasn't a huge fan like a lot of people. But now I'm enjoying the franchise more than I ever have because I'm putting everything down, you know, just kind of putting my walls down, I'm acting like I'm seeing them for the first time, basically. And, you know, there's been, I think the weakest one for me is the 2002 Attack of the Clones. Thought it was okay. I think it's fine. But, like, honestly, my favorite might be Phantom Menace. And that's, like, to some people is like, you're insane. Like, Empire Strikes Back's the greatest, you know, franchise movie of all time, greatest sequel ever. I'm like, sure, for you, you know, but for me, I like Darth Maul. You know, like sue me. I like Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor fucking going toe to toe with Darth Maul. Like, that's just up my alley. That's something I enjoy. So I think it's just important over time if you do rewatch stuff, and that's what I do. I rewatch the shit out of stuff. There may come a time 2-3 years down the road where I watch Asteroid City and I'm like, this is fine. That may happen. That may happen. Or I might be like, holy shit, this is one of my like favorite movies of the past few years. I don't know. The point is I'm not going to predetermine that.
You know, it's interesting because I had a similar I had pretty much this exact opposite conversation with Caleb over The Flash.
Okay, let me hear. Yeah.
He didn't care for it. He thought it was, you know, he thought that there was still so much wrong with that movie. I was very much blinded by my love of Batman, and I was on board. I enjoyed the hell out of that movie. I will probably watch that. You know, I'll buy that. I'll watch it again, and my thoughts might, you know, be completely different. I might think like, oh, okay, this is why I didn't make any money. Like, that could happen. It probably will happen.
Yeah, it could.
But, you know, like, you know, you with Wes Anderson, I was with Batman. I'm like, I'm here to see Batman. I love Batman. Batman's fucking awesome in this. And I was just like blind to everything else, possibly. Or maybe not. I don't, maybe it is a good movie. Maybe Caleb was wrong. I don't know. It's all subjective.
Correct. And that's like why it's fun is they're never like movies are never dead. It depends on how much you keep them alive in your own mind. So I think that's true power, you know? This ongoing thing that we've been doing, the top 10 films of the 2010s project that we've been doing, me, you, and Adam, is like, it's so cool to solidify those feelings. You know, you rewatch a movie that you chose for your top 10 and you get to talk about with other people who, for the most part, we've all been, you're like, yeah, this movie's like the Uncut Gems episode. We were all just like, yeah, this movie fucking rules. And it like solidified its place in our minds as, yeah, saw it in theaters, loved it, watched it again, loved it, watched it again, love it even more, you know? And that's like, that's its trajectory in our minds. With Inherent Vice, for me, it was like, liked it, loved it. For you, it was like, didn't like it, kind of liked it, didn't like it. That's great. That's good for them to be different paths, you know? And, you know, we're going to continue doing this project, moving through these movies that we've been talking about. And it either solidifies something in your mind or creates kind of like a tension of, should I have chosen something else? And I love that feeling. Should I have put Moneyball there? You know, I love that feeling of what do I really like more based on my journey with it, not just that one watch.
But do you think art is actually good if you have to like repeatedly convince yourself that it's good?
I don't think repeatedly convinced. That's a tough. Yeah, no, I don't think that. But I do think you have to allow yourself in different stages of your life. Like Kubrick is a great example of a guy who so many of his movies were just like seen as shitty until, oh wait, I missed everything. You know, that second, third, maybe fourth watch for some people is the most crucial because something opens up. Or maybe a friend told you, hey man, pay attention to this part next time. And you do. And it opens up another door in your mind of, oh, my bad. Like I was watching it the wrong way.
Mm.
And I've had to, because I haven't gone to, I haven't been in school since I was a sophomore in high school. So I very much had to kind of just train my mind on how to learn like who I am and what I like as far as learning things and processing it. And obviously it's movies. I love watching movies and I love kind of rewatching them and figuring out what I feel about them. And I'm so vulnerable and open to being honest about how much different I am now at 28 years old than I was when I was 17, 18, 19.
Okay, that is true. That is true. Growth on that kind of scale does warrant. I mean, for you with Star Wars, for instance, like you're seeing these as different than you were when you were a teenager.
Yeah, when I was like 19, I was being a dickhead. Like I was trying to go against the grain because it gets annoying. It gets annoying that people are like, oh, when something gets so big, you're like, shut up, like shut up, everybody quit it. Like it can't be that good. And both can be true, right? You can meet somewhere in the middle. You can meet somewhere in the middle of like, hey, these aren't the greatest films of all time, but they're pretty fun, and that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm okay with it. I can live with that.
It's true. But a film that you saw like 2 years ago and didn't like, I don't know if like, is it too soon to like Inherent Vice, for instance?
That's a fun conversation. Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
what's the
like,
math? Yeah.
exactly. Because, when that came out, 2024, probably January 2015. So I was 20.
Correct.
I'm
Yeah.
28 now. Am I that different from 20-year-old Connor? I don't think that much. I don't think I'm that different. So should 40-year-old Connor be evaluating that movie? Like, I don't know. Like, at what point do you
maybe.
fuck it, I don't like this?
Well, yeah, it's up to you. Of course, it's always up to you. I'm definitely much different than I was when I was 20. Like I'm like way more I'm way more understanding, way more open, way more like accessible as a person, even. So like before I met you, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have liked me before I met you. so I mean, at age 20, yeah, I mean, you would have liked me because I liked movies so much. I was going to Whiplash and Budapest Hotel and Birdman and all those movies. Like you would have enjoyed that part of me. But I was very much kind of selfish and just kind of doing my like trying to be in my own lane all the time and never really being inclusive or whatever. I just wasn't. I don't think I was like a great person, but and I don't think I'm a great person now. But I'm trying to be. You know what I mean? And now I feel way differently about movies than I did 8 years ago. That's partly because I've just figured so much more out since doing this with you, since doing the podcast and having to articulate your thoughts about stuff, talk about your passion for it, or talk about what you don't like about it. And it's a lot harder for me to dislike movies nowadays. There's movies that I rewatch now that I'm like, I thought I hated. It's like I don't really hate. Like I'm trying to think of an example, but like hate's just like, why would I give all that energy to hating something? It's like it's a movie. They're hard to make. That's why they're so cool and they're good. They're hard to do. There's so many things that I don't understand how a movie is made. You can be like, fuck this thing, I don't like it, but to just be like to just put all this negative energy on it, I just don't really have the like time for anymore. Just like I don't know, like whatever. It's just not for me. If I don't like it, it's not for me. I watched the remake of Point Break. That's probably like in my eyes the worst movie I've watched all year. I still had a good time, like I still was like, this is funny. You know what I mean? It's like, and it probably wasn't that easy to make, so it's like it's better than anything I've fucking done. Right? So I don't know. It's just like I've changed so much over the years of just kind of like, I'm gonna see it glass half full for sure. That's kind of how I look at things.
It's interesting because I'm very much a glass half empty kind of guy.
You texted me after you saw Asteroid City. You said, "Am I too cynical?"
Yeah, because it's like when you don't like a Wes Anderson movie, like his movies are all designed to just make you smile, and when you don't, you feel like it's you. So I had a moment of like, is it me? But then as I drove home, I'm like, no, like he's an entertainer. His job is to entertain, and he didn't, so he failed, not me. No.
Yeah, yeah, he failed you for sure. Yeah, there's nothing that's okay. That is okay, you know? It's not the first time it's gonna happen with someone that you like, you know? It's gonna happen. Whether it be an album that comes out, you're like, oh, I don't really like this as much as I think I should, or you know, or a movie or whatever, TV show, right? A season of TV can really disappoint you. You're like, what? I thought you were this, but you're now this. Happens all the time, man. So I'm glad you're honest about it. I'm glad you're like, no, like I'm gonna stick to my guns. I did not enjoy Asteroid City here in the year 2023 in theaters.
Well, when it comes to films, like I I use my time to explore new movies. So when I'm when the movie fails me, for lack of a better phrase, I take it personally. I'm like, why did you invest time and effort into making this horrible piece of shit that all it did was poison my day and just make me a bitter asshole just a little bit more? Why did you do that? So yeah, I a lot of that's just me, just walking through life with an eye with a negative aspect, which is hard to overcome. But I don't know. I like I'm as we're doing this, I'm midway through my first watch of Red Dawn,
Okay.
and I fucking love this movie. Like this is enjoyable. I like this, and it's just it's nice. It's nice to have a
Yeah.
like this is something new to me that I enjoy, and this is going to add enjoyment to my day, and I'm going to take that enjoyment and brighten up somebody else, hopefully, unless
Yeah.
something else that sucks happens to me, in which case, total shutdown. Now it's a bad day. And
Yeah.
that's just the
Yeah.
way I operate. I fucking hate that I operate that way, but that's what happens. Like, I can be happy in spurts, but if something bad happens to me, even if it's the most inconvenient shit, my day is over.
Yeah. I understand that. That's so funny. It's a very like Larry David way of moving.
I know. I fucking hate it. I really do. I wish I could turn that off. I don't know. I don't smoke weed. Maybe I should start, but I don't know what else I can do to just kind of start looking at things in a more optimistic, positive light.
Yeah. That's funny. I mean, yeah, I mean, you've spoken before, you're like about there's kind of like a an optimism that I have. I didn't always have that. It's definitely comes from having my daughter. It definitely is like movies that she watches where I'm like, well, this is dumb, you know, like, like this movie sucks. But look at her. Like, look at she's way young. She's way younger than me. The way her mind moves is way different than me. I should appreciate that. I should appreciate that part of it, even if it's not a movie that I love. And then I think about it's like, no, it's not just children. It's everybody. The way you think about movies, the way the stuff Brianna likes. We have a lot of similarities, but also some of her favorites are movies that I'm not crazy about, but I see how she gets enjoyment out of them. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. You know, that's really neat. And ultimately, it comes down to my adoration for the craft of filmmaking. I can't fathom how hard it is to make something as difficult as bring it back to Wes Anderson, as difficult as a lot of his movies. You know, you watch the Life Aquatics and the Budapest Hotel for sure, and the French Dispatch, and even his animated movies, just the meticulous, the detail, and then Asteroid City, just the production design of it, and this the lighting and all these things, like the stage aspect of it. It's like I'm at least going to enjoy that with Wes Anderson. I know that's going to come, but I'm just I'm probably just super blind to any flaws that they have, because I just love the guy. I love him. I love what he represents. I love his mind. I love who he brings. I love what he brings out of these guys. The stuff he brings out of Adrian Brody and Willem Dafoe, and all these different actors that he continually brings out. It's cool to see Tom Hanks in one of his movies. Um, I just love all that stuff. So it's like so hard for me to look at anything outside of the positive. I don't know. That's sounds like to me a personal problem for myself.
Well, and you know me, like if I'm not into the script, I'm not going to enjoy anything else. So yeah, that's definitely a personal problem for me. So
Yeah, we just talked about this with Inherent Vice not that long ago.
yeah.
Inherent Vice is all vibes. It's all atmosphere. It's all feeling, and obviously a very confusing screenplay and a very confusing story by Thomas Pynchon. So yeah, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, and that's why movies like that have a 3.5, 3.6 in a letterbox, because there's a bunch of 5 stars and there's a bunch of 2 stars. Meet somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean? With We're already seeing this with Asteroid City. I think it holds a 3.6. You got a lot of people who love it. You got a lot of people who are like, this is his worst movie. And then so somewhere in the middle is the average. So you're not, the 4.0s and ups for Wes Anderson are like Tenenbaums, Budapest Hotel, Fantastic Mr. Fox. Those are kind of seen, and I think Moonrise Kingdom. Those are kind of seen as his quote unquote masterpieces, right? And I love them too. I love them all. I don't think he has his batting average to me is like just it's insane. For 11 movies is insane. My least favorite's probably Isle of Dogs, and I still really like that movie. So that's where I stand.
My least favorite was Bottle Rocket. Now it's Asteroid City.
Bottle Rocket's my favorite.
I know. Whenever we talk about these guys, I always feel like I'm going to hurt your feelings.
Never. I mean, it's impossible. I'm both of us have too thick of skin to be like, oh, you took something away from me. Or we're both, I mean, you come from a family that also loves movies, and you guys have your favorites that you've debated amongst, along the years. And my brothers and I, and my parents to an extent, also have that kind of same banter about, well, I don't like this. This is dumb. Like, my dad just does not understand a lot of the movies. He's like, why would you watch something that's confusing? But like, that's how my dad is. and then, like, me and my brothers are very much like, because it's different. It's hilarious. And so, like, we're used to those dynamics. So when you and I met, of course, we like a lot of the same things. We're very similar and kind of our very favorite stuff. We love like all the Carpenter stuff and the Tarantino and the Coens. But there's clear differences in like our movie identities. That's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it is true. We need, there's got to be some friction. Otherwise, if it's just us agreeing with each other every single time, it would get annoying.
Especially, it's great for a first thoughts episode because it is first thoughts, right? It's that initial reaction. You didn't like it, I liked it. Let's talk about it, and we've gotten a good discussion out of it right now.
Well, down the road, we are, spoiler alert, but we are planning a project towards the end of the year where Asteroid City will come up again. So it will
at the very end.
Yeah, at the very end of that thing. So
which is great, because at that point I'll be ready to rewatch
it. Yeah. So, and maybe I'll be, maybe I don't know, something in my life will have changed where I'm like, you know what? This works. I don't know. Maybe I'll get stranded in the desert and realize like, oh yeah, so it's not as whimsical as I thought, but I'd love to be there. I don't know.
Maybe you'll like meet Jeffrey Wright and you're like, I'm gonna like everything he does now. you never know. You never know what will happen, right? When you like meet somebody. Adam and I were talking about this earlier with athletes and celebrities and whatever. It's like you can say all this nasty shit about them, but then if you see them in person, you're like, oh damn. It like changes everything, because you're like, oh, it's a human being. It's so funny.
Jeffrey Wright had me at Casino Royale, so that won't be a problem. But
he's awesome in this movie. You got to admit that he's pretty good as like this general who's like, oh right, the U.S. government. Like, I don't know what it is, why him and Wes Anderson match up, but they do. I don't know, like, it's such an odd pairing, but it works.
Well, I mean, his voice is, has some inflection in it, so I'll give him some props for that.
Yeah. Him and like Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe's going for it.
Yeah. What was the mantra? You can't wake up if you don't fall asleep.
Yeah, yeah. Dafoe is fucking into it.
That reminds me of a George Carlin quote I heard once, which is if you haven't gotten where you're going, you aren't there yet. It's like, is that
Yeah, I
profound
had a.
or just dumb?
I think it's profound. I think it's great. I had a cross country coach during my freshman year of high school who said, "Austin, if you want to run fast, run faster." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna run faster," you know. And I ended up like doing really well that season and placed super high and like the state competition. And he was like, "Austin, you ran fast." I was like, "Thanks, coach." uh,
Well, yeah. I mean, all right. So this is the kind of movie that we will be revisiting as part of a larger project I can't disclose yet. But
yeah, yeah. The plan is to like talk Wes Anderson even more. So it'll be cool.
Yeah, we're gonna bite to the sweet chocolatey center of that Tootsie Pop. You better believe it.
Yes.
But in the meantime, are there any last thoughts on first thoughts you'd like to share about Asteroid City?
I'm sure I'll think of some stuff, but like no, it's initial reaction. It's not supposed to be this thing where you prepare months in advance for, right? It's supposed to be this is what first thoughts is about. You see the movie in theaters, and you talk about it. You talk about the experience. Where'd you see it? You saw it at Draft House. Which one?
Alamo Drafthouse, Slaughter Lane. I got there
South
late.
Austin.
Yeah, I got there late because I thought it was closer, and I had to park like way in the back by Summer Moon Coffee. I wasn't even in the Draft House parking lot, so I walked all the way in there and found the one seat in the back of the theater that reclines fully because it's out of the way of the rest of the servers. So I was at least comfortable.
Nice. That's good. That's good. That's funny. Summer Moon is like this. They're popping up everywhere, man. Summer Moon Coffee. It's like, what is this? Another coffee place. Great, great. I saw it at Embassy, packed, like completely sold out.
Yep.
It's cool.
Mine too. Mine too.
I think it's made. We're recording this Sunday night. Over the weekend, I think it's made like $18 million. It's pretty good. It's close to breaking even. These are tough times, right, for independent filmmakers and these kinds of movies to like really make splashes, but it can happen.
Fuck, dude. I mean, it's hard times for blockbusters. These like Warner Brothers and Pixar both shit the bed this weekend. So, like,
Yeah.
nobody's making money anymore.
So yeah, okay. I guess let's kind of like finish with that because that's really interesting to me. The conundrum of blockbusters and what they're going through because they're like it's obviously it can happen because Super Mario did really well and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse did extremely well, and those just happened. Spider-Man obviously is like maybe the best movie of the year so far, so we understand that it's a sequel of a really good movie from 5 years ago. It's built up this kind of anticipation and it delivered. Super Mario was like prime time for just like, oh, it's like an hour and 20 minutes. Let's take the kids. Let's go. Everybody pile up. Elemental. What's first off, I've heard it's not very good, which is unfortunate. I heard someone say, this makes me want to see it more. I heard someone say that it's basically an animated Jungle Fever.
Oh my God.
I was like, I want to see that.
Jesus.
I want to see it just to laugh at it. He was like, it's horrible. Like he was just kind of like slicing into the movie. He said it's awful, but I want to see it because it's Pixar. But I'm going to wait till it's on Disney Plus. It should have gone straight to Disney Plus. We are now geared towards these modern Pixar movies going straight to the service. Luca, Turning Red. These movies that have been pretty good, right? They're decent flicks, but they've been right here, right, like at our fingertips. We've gotten used to that. So why would people be like, oh, let's go see the new Pixar film Elemental that doesn't have a crazy stacked vocal cast? We don't really know what it's about through the trailer. Let's wait till it's on Disney Plus. The Flash, I got to be honest, I think Ezra Miller just turns a lot of people off. And if he's the centerpiece of your movie, people are not going to get very excited. And DC's just kind of shit the bed a bunch. So it doesn't build that anticipation like a Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse. You know what I mean?
Well, we talked about it last week, me and Caleb. Basically, like the Flash had so many things going wrong for it. For Ezra Miller alone was enough to basically warrant this being taken off the fucking calendar. You had that. You also had DC's recent failures with Shazam 2 and Black Adam, and everyone was already just like, oh, another one? Great, this is going to suck too. You had James Gunn's announcement that he's rebooting the universe in 2 years, so we know this isn't going anywhere.
Yeah. That's why I didn't see it. That's why I didn't see it. I was like, okay, I don't want to reset, like do all this for just a reset. So like where I stand with DC is if it's Matt Reeves and it's the Batman, I'm going. I'm there. I'll see you there.
For me, it's like these are possibly the only chance I'm going to get to see some of my favorite characters on the big screen. So I'm going to take them when I can get them.
Yeah, fair.
They're probably going to be bad. I mean, whatever. At this point, I'm numb to it. I'm just like, all right. But I'm hoping, like I just found out James Mangold's been tapped to write and direct a R-rated horror Swamp Thing movie.
Oh,
that's going to be good. That's going to be good. So I can hold out hope for the future. And with Elemental, it's just, you had that huge failure with Lightyear last year.
Yep.
It's expensive to take your kids to the movies, as I'm sure you're aware of.
Extremely.
So, yeah. So you got to be choosy. You can't just, every time there's a kids movie, you can't just take your kid now. Like movie tickets are expensive. The matinee ticket is fucking pricey now. And when you can just watch this endless stream of kids movies on Disney Plus, and this is going to be there in like 2 or 3 weeks, there's no point to it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, so Willow started going to movies this year. She's 4 now. We're like, all right, she's ready. Super Mario, Little Mermaid, and Across the Spider-Verse. That's the 3 she's seen in theaters. Liked them all. She enjoyed all of them. She had a good time. And we went all together to see Super Mario. I thought it was fine. I didn't love it, but I thought it was fine. I liked the Jack Black Bowser stuff. And Brianna thought it was okay. They saw Little Mermaid together. I didn't see that. I don't have much interest in it. And they both had a good time. And then we all had an absolute blast at Spider-Man. We were just like, fuck yeah, that was cool. I'll never forget it.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's, because I now live away from everybody I know, I'm seeing every movie by myself now, which is fine. It's fine.
Dude, just don't take it for granted. It's the best. I saw Asteroid City by myself and I was like, let the good times roll. Like I used to see movies by myself like twice, 2 or 3 times a week. That was my therapy. And that I needed it, man. I as optimistic and positive as I can be, or glass half full, we all have our moments of like, I need to just be myself for a minute and kind of do my own thing. And I needed it in that moment. It was, weird stuff happened at work and whatnot. So I was like, I need to, everybody fuck off. I need to go do something that I'm going to enjoy. And that may have played a role in me being like, I don't care what anybody says, I'm going to like this movie. You just never, you just, that feeling of seeing something that you've been waiting for 2 years from a guy that you like, and you're in the theater. It's just a great feeling. Great feeling.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you had that feeling. And I love how real you got for a second there with like, no, enjoy it, man. that was funny.
I love, obviously I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't trade anything for the world, like what my life is now. Yeah. But as far as movie going goes, man, it was nice to only have to spend $10. And really, that doesn't really even mean just me now. Like when I would see Asteroid City, I was like, fucking $15. Like, Jesus Christ! It's like I look back at I still have a bunch of movie stubs from the tickets that I bought from years ago. And I mean, just 2018, 2019, I would go to matinees like boom, like nobody's business. Like I would go at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. During the day. I would go, if I wasn't working or whatever, or before work, at Draft House and shit. And those, it was like $8, $9, $8, $9. I'm like, man, that was just a few years ago. Like, God.
I'm telling you, dude, sucks. Season pass. It's $20 a month and it's unlimited.
Yeah. So Yeah, the draft house thing. Neither one of those are that close to us.
That's true. Yeah.
Park North and Stone Oak. We're kind of like in the middle of them. I love them both. I mean, they're both great theaters, right? I love what they do. I adore what their goal is, what their mission is, which is sell chips and queso and sell movie tickets. But I wish I was a little closer to one of them because I'd probably bite and just go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I get it. I lucked out in more ways than one with this move. Like it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
I found out the fucking Dairy Queen by my apartment is like the only one in Texas that has chocolate soft serve.
Oh man. How is it?
It was fucking great. Is what yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had chocolate soft serve at Dairy Queen since I lived in Maryland. I was fucking blown away.
Dude, chocolate soft serve is like, yeah, fuck out of here. So good. I'm like way pro chocolate when it comes to ice cream. So yeah, I think vanilla is just kind of boring.
Well, yeah, vanilla has become a synonym for boring. So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what word to use, but I was like, it is. It's boring.
Well, yeah, on that note, I think that perfectly describes my thoughts on Asteroid City. But let's
soft serve chocolate ice cream. Asteroid City. Come on.
This was fun. You know where our socials are. Check them out. We'll have another one of these next week for damn sure. Probably Caleb and I, hopefully praising the new Indiana Jones movie.
Oh my God, that's literally next week.
It's on Friday. I really hope it doesn't suck.
Let me know because I'm gonna wait to see that. I'm not gonna see it the weekend of. I'm a little nervous, I guess is the word I'll use. I'm a little nervous about how it's gonna be. So definitely let me know. I'm going to be off that following the Monday after the opening weekend. If like I hear good things and I'm like I think it's worth my time, I'll go check it out because I love Raiders. I like Temple of Doom. Last Crusade's fun, so I want to know. I want to know what else Indy's up to. So let me know, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So until then, yeah, take it easy. We got content coming out every week. If you want to go see Asteroid City, just Wes Anderson purists are gonna love it. Regular people are probably gonna be like, it's time for a bathroom break, and then come back and not miss anything, which is what I did. So, with that, we'll see you next week.